Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in. What you see before you is the GTeng T909 5.8 GHz FPV watch or a wearable. And this was $35 from GearBest, so we take a look. Comes with a standard USB cable, which I appreciate the fact that if you lose this one or it becomes damaged, you can just grab anything else that you might have laying around for a cell phone and it's going to work. This is the watch itself. Comes in a pretty decent box, really good for protective shipping, and then we've got our instruction manual here. Instruction manual is going to go over the typical specifications. It's going to tell you it has a 2-inch LCD screen, it has a 3 dBi copper pipe 5.8 gigahertz antenna. We've really just got two buttons on the side here. We've got our power button, and then we've got our channel button, which long press changes the band that we're on, short press changes the channel on that band. And then you can see down here it has an indicator for whether we're charging or not, which band we're on, and which channel within that band that we're on. Inside it says it has a 300 milliamp LiPo, and I can confirm that when the light is on solid, that means you're charging, and when it's flashing, it's actually kind of a burst flash. That means it is full. Microport. The charging time says it's around 50 minutes. I will test that, and the using time is around 60 minutes. So it means I'm going to have to go for a bunch of back-to-back flights. Otherwise, we're just getting a screen-on test. Has a nice little manual here that folds out if I can get my fingers to work. It also has a map of the channel, so you might want to keep that around so you know what channel you need to shoot for. It states it has a viewing angle of 140 or 120 degrees, depending upon if you're looking at it vertically or horizontally. And it's a TFT screen and a resolution of 960 by 240. Then we have the contrast and the brightness that you can see there. Okay. Let's take the plastic screen off here and let's turn it on. Or turn it on. Do I have to press longer? Here we go. Wow, that turned on pretty fast. I was expecting it to take a lot longer. So let's do this. This is a Boss Cam. This has a DVR, but they're very similar if you look at the screen sizes. So I thought this device might give us a little bit of comparison. Now, the GTeng device is going to have a lot more channels. This only has 8 channels, but this also has a DVR. So pluses and minuses, but something else we can compare is they both just have linear whip antennas on them. Oh, I should show you the antenna. It's pretty interesting. So we've got this little cutout down here. Just get a fingernail or something in there and we just pull it out, and then you can see it's got a hinge right up here. We keep rotating it, we can pull it out away from ourselves. You can see how far that looks like the maximum right there. So that's where our antenna is. But what I immediately wanted to check was the snow screens here to see if we can discern much of a difference in screen resolution. Now you can see, possibly you won't be able to see, that the GTeng is trying to pick up some sort of video signal because it changes colors every once in a while. But just from looking at these snow screens, I would have to say that the GTeng has a higher resolution than this Boss Cam DVR, just by the size of the pixels that I can discern here. These look a lot finer, and you actually, when you look at this, you probably think this is a lot wider, and that's an indication of having more pixels as well. Okay, so let's get set up. Let's actually display an image on this thing. I've got a micro over here. I'll get it set up on the channels, and we'll come back and take a look at that. So I got one of my trusty little micros here with the camera all set up, and I've tuned in the watch or wearable into the appropriate channel, and you can see here that it's showing we're on band F, channel 7, so that's accurate. I can attest to that. And here's a look. We're looking at a DVD cover of the 1980s movie The Breakfast Club, showing my age a bit, but this was the best thing I had to look at that was around here without digging out a family photo, which I'm sure no one wants to see. And quite frankly, I am fairly impressed. I did not expect the resolution to be this high on the screen. You can make out some of the pixels as you look into the hairlines around the picture if you get it close, but hopefully my camera is doing it pretty close to what I see visually. And the viewing angle here is pretty remarkable as well. I was kind of surprised by that, but if it's going to be marketed as a wearable, sorry, let me move this out of the shot so I can show you the viewing angle a little better. Okay, so this is pretty much flat to my video camera. And you can make it out until it goes, well, essentially until the angle is so great you can't see the screen anymore. So then we go the other way horizontally. Let me get out of the glare if I can. So the viewing angle is really, really good. It is a glossy screen, so I think outside we're going to see where we're going to have to fight the bright sunlight, I think, a little bit. But overall, for an indoor test, I can see where, like in my cases, where when I'm working on something, I might use this little boss cam to check to make sure my FPV gear is working. This would definitely do the job, and actually would do the job better because it has more channels. So this is my Android watch. This is the Motorola 360. It's the original edition. It's not quite fair because, oh, so it gives you something to compare it to. I mean, we're talking about a $250 smartwatch versus $35 here. And I do like that green. That green's one of my favorites. The band is rubberized. It's pretty thick. I'm going to go ahead and stick it on my wrist so you can get a look at how that looks on a average male wrist. And in the inside here, you can see where it's kind of got some sort of texture for grippage, so it won't slide around on your wrist. Struggling to get this on, sorry. It's hard when you're fumbling around a camera. So that's how it looks on a wrist. And this is compared to an average smartwatch, so you get some sort of size comparison. I think the next thing we want to see is what is its range. And I didn't see in here where it actually talked about the range, but I'm pretty sure I saw on the website where it said 60 meters. Yep, I don't see it in here. But I think the next thing that we need to find out is what's its range. So let's take it outside and check it out. Okay, so I planned on actually showing you all of the test footage that I did, especially on the range footage. But what I found is that the glare off the screen made the video recording very difficult to see. You can make out an image. So what I'll do is, just for proof of concept, I'll put right up here a fast forwarding of the range test. But I think what you're probably most interested in is the fact that even though this is advertised at 60 meters as the range on the GearBest website, I had it to 157 meters at least. According to Google Maps, from the 2 points that I measured, that's where I was, and what you see right up here. So the range on this is astounding or unbelievable. The quality of the screen I was surprised by. When you long press it, the power button, it turns on very quickly. The channel changing and band changing works really well. There's really no fuss there. The antenna doesn't come out all that easy, but that's probably a necessary evil because you don't want it falling out. The one thing that I found about the antenna is I continue to want to push this down and then push it in. So be careful that you don't snap it off. It goes flat and then it pushes in. I did some tests on the charging time. I believe the charging time's reported at 60 minutes, and I found that to be somewhere between 52 and 58 minutes, so pretty close. Run time I think is at 50 minutes, and I was getting anywhere from 48 to 51 minutes of running time, and that's to be expected because am I running the battery absolutely flat, and did it absolutely get to 100% charging of its capacity every time? So you're going to have some variable, but those specifications on the website for this device do seem to be true and accurate. Improvements. I think if they could decrease the bezel, but that's going to really increase the cost, because when you have these small screens and you have the bezel that's really small, your manufacturing cost goes up, and your screen cost goes up, kind of like we have on our smartphones now with the bezel's real small. The reason why these devices can be so reasonable is because they do have a bezel and they're lower pixel resolution. But I do think if they can include a DVR into this and some screen controls for like brightness and contrast, this device would be very, 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 very good. It's already very good, but if you could add those two features, GTeng, if you're out there, DVR, screen controls, I don't know where you'd put them. Maybe there's space over here to reorganize the buttons. For right now, it's $32.99 on GearBest. I think it's a great value. I'm glad that I have it, and I will probably use it. The range was remarkable. So if you're an FPV racer and you don't want to put your goggles on, or you don't want to stand in front of a screen, if you just want to relax somewhere and be able to have a conversation but check in on your buddy's race, this is a great thing. If you're testing at a bench or something and you want to check to make sure your video is working on whatever your build is, this is a great device. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than the Boss Cam that I bought. This is $90, I believe, or at least when I bought it, it was $90. This is only $32. There are some feature differences, but that is a comparison. I think the screen on this is better. The one downside is that there is quite a bit of glare on this, as you can see. So you're going to have to find a way to make that work. But it wasn't as bad as the video recording that I had up here would indicate. I could actually see it outside a lot better than the video recording indicated, and that was part of the problem. Was I'm filming right now with a Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge, so that's like a $700 or $800 smartphone, and I could not see the screen on my smartphone while I was video recording as well as I could see this screen over the top. So, but my smartphone has screen controls I could have turned up to see if that would have made it better. But again, this is a good device. I think if you have a need, you should definitely pick one up. I'll put the link down in the description for the GearBest website. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those in the section below. If you like the video, why not give it a thumbs up? If you like the device, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the section down below. And thanks for watching.